Hello my soccer universe, to finally the Bundesliga jersey review. I got around to make another full review. We are reviewing 64 jerseys from the German Bundesliga, going from the worst jersey, according to my opinion, to the last one. And there's a whole lot of jerseys on the beginning that are from the same teams as the end. It's really interesting. 64 jerseys means a little bit more than 3.5 jerseys per team. There are teams in there that have released 5 jerseys, looking at you, Bayern. So very eclectic, very many specialty jerseys, a whole lot of anniversary jerseys in there as well. It's also a showcase for many German brands, especially Puma. We have tons of Puma jerseys in there. We have, of course, a couple of Adidas in there. We have a few Nike jerseys. Nike not doing that great, honestly, I gotta say. And a few smaller brands like Mizuno that we have here on this Augsburg jersey, which is the only jersey that I own from this season. That's why I decided to wear it. It's a pretty jersey, but where will it land in the countdown? In this countdown, I already said, we're going from the worst jersey to the best jersey, but I also grade the jerseys. So we start at the 1 stars and we added and 10 stars. And of course, I'll let you know where we are there. So without further ado, please join me for a lengthy 64 jerseys from the German Bundesliga. So 2024-25 Bundesliga jersey review, here we come, and we're actually starting with 1-star jerseys. We have plenty of 1-star jerseys in there, and to me the worst one of the batch is, a little bit surprisingly so, Bayern Munich. It's number 64, their home jersey. 3 things that I really don't like about this one. A, the pattern is absolutely random and completely doesn't make any sense. B, no white applications. A Bayern jersey should have at least a little bit of white. Instead they go for this deep red that almost looks like black, which also causes some legibility issues, especially for numbers, which is also the reason why this jersey is not used in the Champions League. Very controversially so. And third, I don't know why we need a monochromatic logo. I think the regular Bayern logo on a home jersey, that's what it should be. All of these together and the overall look make it, to me, the worst Bundesliga jersey and also the worst Bayern jersey in history. And it's even more damning because they beat out the monstrosity at number 63 in the Frankfurt home jersey. I mean, this is Nike's worst template, and I don't know, I mean, it looks a little bit like Superman. It's an awful design, honestly. Yes, it goes back to a late 80s jersey, but nothing here that I really like. Maybe the star on the bottom, but the best thing is the crest in red. Number 62 in our last 1-star jersey is this Hoffenheim 3rd jersey. It literally reminds me of a diaper of an infant. You know, just before they take solids or when they eat their first vegetables, it looks like that. It's just awful color-wise. We're moving in slightly better territory. 2 stars, still not great. And I have to say, the Union Berlin home jersey, while per se not bad, the template is really awful for going with this Arsenal style look. Heck, Arsenal is not even going with that look. There's too much white going around that completely takes away from a simple Union home jersey. I love the sponsor on there, but overall the jersey, whenever I look at it, looks rather awful. Awful also the Mainz Carnival jersey. Yes, it's a Carnival jersey. It should look wild. However, these are colors that should not go together. There's no rhyme or reason behind them. Yes, it's Carnival, but it's just too dark. And then even the logos and the sponsors on there do not make all that much sense. That's probably one of the first Carnival jerseys where I have to say this is a really bad one. Let's go to 3-star. We're getting slightly better. To be honest, the Bochum away jersey, color-wise, not too bad, but you know what is this patterning on there? It's actually awful. I don't like that, and I think there's maybe even too much white on there. Similarly, I really don't like the Dortmund special jersey that they wore recently. Yes, the neon is nice, the sleeves look awful, the collar does not make sense at all, and I really don't like this square sponsor either. Of all the special jerseys that Dortmund have released lately, and especially given that fans wanted to have a neon jersey for a while, you could have done a whole lot better. Number 57 is a jersey, to be honest, that I don't find that bad per se, but why orange? that's the one thing for Eintracht Frankfurt that doesn't make any sense. Make this a purely red jersey, and I think we are fine. Or, choose any other of the three clubs' colors. You have a white jersey, you have a black jersey, you could well have a red jersey, and I think then this would be fine. Use black pinstripes, and it is even better. Another 3-star jersey to me is the Bremen away. I just don't get it. Bremen is so famous for their white and green, and then you take out all the color, including the crest. It's a very mad jersey that really doesn't excite me at all. I also find that the Leverkusen third jersey in this grayish, bluish configuration is rather disappointing. I don't know what the patterning should be on there. Is it workers in the Bayer factory? I don't know. I also don't get, Leverkusen is a club that plays in red and black. So where's the blue coming from? Maybe from the Bayer company? I don't know. It's just a rather nonsensical and not very attractive jersey to me. Especially underarms really turn me off. But also the blue doesn't make it feel very much like Bayer. So with the worst behind us, we had the 4-star jerseys. So 54 jerseys that I consider at least decent. And the worst of these is the Wolfsburg home jersey. Wolfsburg had some really crazy jerseys lately. And this bright lime green is now their calling card. I'm okay with that. However, the center stripe is a little bit off. Not really a fan of that one either. It's not as bad as the Hoffenheim jersey though. Very much mad jersey is the Heidenheim away jersey. Nothing really special. I honestly have to say it's the sponsor that really takes this down for me. It just looks too messy, too busy on the jersey. It has also a very busy pattern on there, and then it adds too many colors. If that sponsor was all unicolored, I guess I could live with it better. Number 52 is a jersey where I say great idea, however execution. This is a jersey that was worn to celebrate children's rights, and that's what's the sponsor on there. However, then the jersey itself, you use like Werder Bremen, one of the masked colors out there, this completely desaturated green tone with then an odd Puma pattern in there as well. I think what I do like is the exclamation point that is colorful, and also the 2 stars above the Gladbach logo, also quite interesting. Champions Leverkusen continue with the bad run here. The home jersey, yes, the good thing is it's red, but again, monochromatic crest on a home jersey. I really want to see a full colored crest, and Leverkusen have been doing this for quite a while. But also the pattern on there, I think there's a map of the city on there, but then there's also these crosses that come a little bit in there that seem like a little bit unmotivated. I know crosses have to do with Bayer, but yeah, I don't know. And also the way that the sleeves are connecting to the whole body makes just such a weird shape. Either go full raglan or make them normal sleeves, but don't go with anything that's in between. So rather bad jersey, I gotta say. Also the away jersey for Kiel, it's not that bad. Maybe the sleeve patch, especially on the proper left with the yellow sponsor, is a little bit odd. But also this wavy pattern on there, while interesting, and at least there is some consistency with the colors, I honestly feel it kind of hides away the Kiel crest as well. So a little bit of an odd one to me. Puma stuff also number 49, the St. Pauli jersey. Honestly, the home shirt, it's 3 brown tones. Yes, brown is the main color for St. Pauli. However, brown is also one of my least favorite colors, so this never was gonna sit very high, but it's also very disjointed. At least if the main brown tone would fit one of the 2 in the quadrat design, I think I could get a little bit more on board with that. So it just looks a little bit too much of a mess. I also would say, if you have brown, go full on brown. Don't use then the white sleeve cuffs and the white collar. That just is a tad too much, and so not a jersey that I really enjoy. The Freiburg away jersey at number 48 is also, it's a template jersey with a Freiburg logo slapped on. There's really not much more that I can say. And similarly, the Kiel third jersey, same pattern as we had on this Gladbach special jersey. However, I think in red it looks better. All makes a little bit more sense. I like the full colored crest on there. Dortmund is also not getting away very well. I really don't know about this home jersey. I think there are too many ideas in there and none of these really work. I mean, first off, either decide yellow with black sleeves. I think this would be a great design, but then why the pinstriping? Or go with the all pinstripe look, but don't use the black sleeves. So that really doesn't make sense to me to begin with. Then you have this square sponsor here, but you leave everything, the gap, for a much wider sponsor, which also looks awful. And to add to it, the Dortmund logo is even falling out of the line between the outer lines that are there. The Puma logo just makes the jump. The Dortmund logo does not do it. So it's a rather meh jersey. Honestly, Puma and Dortmund have not been a great combination, I gotta say. A little bit more interesting, but not by much, is of course the Heidenheim home jersey. Yeah, this is red with a blue, interesting blue pattern. I actually like how they make the pixelated effect to keep the space for the sponsor, so it's not such a harsh cut. The sponsor is also in only a single color that connects with all the other colors. That's why kinda makes sense, but it's also rather messy. At number 44, we have the Freiburg home jersey. Freiburg, this is probably the best that Nike have done as of late, because, you know, they had some really weird ones, but again, it's just a template with a, I don't know what pattern this should be. Doesn't do much, it's just right middle of the park. So we are done with the really mediocre jerseys. Let's go into 5. These jerseys are just about okay, and I think this is definitely true for the Kiel home jersey. I actually like that they have slightly darker sleeves that nicely connect with the collar, that the sponsor and the sleeve cuffs and the Puma logo have the same color. So if all the club's colors in there, and then there's an interesting pattern in there. Is it a great jersey? No, it is not, but I think it looks much better than what we have seen before. The Wolfsburg third jersey is just meh as meh can be. It's gray, but it does something interesting. I think this color is cool. There's also the green, so this gives a little bit of spark. You have a little bit of the black. Maybe there's too much black. You could have used green for at least one of the logos, potentially the Wolfsburg logo, that in green would have looked a little bit better. At 41, we have the Leipzig away jersey. I think the red is not a bad idea, but the washed out effect, I mean, I could go now on a really dark path. It just doesn't really do it for me. At number 40, we have the Bayern away jersey. This is more of an interesting one, and it's not really obvious when you look at it up close, but the further you move back, the more you can actually see what is happening there. There is the famous Bavaria statue that I think is on the fairgrounds where the Oktoberfest is held, is on there. It's kind of this shape in the middle, the face is just behind the T, and so on and so forth. The more you squint, the more you see this one. And it, of course, takes all the colors from this bronze statue. So you have the bronze logos, the 3 stripes in bronze, and then, of course, the patinated one to have a little bit the greenish, darkish in there. Makes for an interesting jersey. Not necessarily a great jersey. Bayern had much better ones. I wish that the figure would be shown a little bit better, and then I think you're onto something here. The Leipzig home jersey, the first one by Puma, little bit better. I mean, it's a Leipzig jersey. It has interesting patterns similar to the Freiburg home jersey. However, it's a little bit more interesting, but you know, Leipzig home jersey is never something really interesting. At number 38, we have the Heidenheim third jersey. Yeah, chevron pattern. It's the most interesting one. I really like the color combination. Again, sponsor in just one color makes it good. We have the red of the crest really standing out, and everything else is the 2 blue tones and the white. Kind of makes sense. It's sort of attractive, but it's also not really outstanding. And something very similar I could say for the St. Pauli away jersey. Yeah, the pattern seems a little bit random, but I think overall this jersey is nice. The brown actually doesn't bother me here so much because it's used as a nice accent color, and also bonus points for hiding away the Puma logo a little bit. So makes the St. Pauli logo breathe. In at number 36, let me say, this is the Oktoberfest kit of Bayern Munich. I hate the color of this one, but everything else about that one I love. If this was a red jersey or even a dark red jersey, this would rank a whole lot higher. I love the lozenge pattern in there, which of course is very much Bavaria. I love how the crest has kind of this old style Bavarian look in there. I even can defend the colors a little bit because, you know, some of the more traditional dress is in these colors. There is something there. The color takes it down, but everything else from color and the way it looks and the reference it makes is really, really, really cool. An interesting one is also the Mainz home jersey. You know, Mainz are going now with the full-on Croatia look, and they kind of did a reverse from what Croatia had at the last World Cup, dominating with the red. And I think it makes it interesting. It also gives them more uniform color, because previous kits were too much split between the red and white. This is now red dominant. Is it super attractive? No, but I think it's a teeny bit more interesting. A kit that I actually like, but I had to take down bit by bit because I thought there are better kits out there. But this Gladbach away jersey, there is something about it I really love. The green with the black accents and a little bit the white coming in on the sides. Of course, the pattern is a little bit too wild, but there's something there that I enjoy. Similar, the Bremen third jersey, you know, it again goes with inclusivity, so we have kind of multiple colors in there, the purple, the greenish on the black jersey. Would I prefer this white and green? Yes, I would prefer that. That would make it higher, but I think it's not a bad shirt and actually makes the color stand out a little bit. And you know, purely black shirt, you rarely ever can go wrong with that. And if you add some interesting accent colors, it will always work well. The Wolfsburg away jersey, best Wolfsburg jersey out there. I think that the striping in the dark green is a little bit too random. If this was more uniform, or even if you would let this go, this jersey would rank a whole lot higher. But I always like it when they take a dark jersey and then have the bright green accents on there. That's actually a really, really good call. Dortmund also have released a really nice away jersey. To me, this is almost a classic Dortmund away jersey. I love the yellow chest band. And yes, there's a sponsor in there that kind of adds a little bit more black. But here, it bothers me least because it actually is part of the design and then it's just slapped on there. Maybe the grayish patterning and there's some Borussia in there. If this was going all black, I would like it even better. I also think that the Leverkusen away jersey is not that bad. It sits at number 30 and it has some golden elements. Given that Leverkusen are the defending champions, makes sense. Do I wish there was a little bit more red? Yes, I do. Think below the arms, if you make this red, or if you go fully with the white and golden look, I think this would look better. Also the wavy pattern in there. But I think this is a quite nice jersey. And the same thing can be said for Mainz's away jersey. I absolutely love this dark blue with the red. It's maybe a tad too dark, but I think it looks quite nice. Maybe the sponsor on the one sleeve is off. We're going to 6 stars, so from here on we are definitely already above average. And the Leipzig third jersey, the pattern is wild, but I think even with the sponsor in full color it kind of makes sense, although I would wish that the Leipzig crest was full color. But what makes it stand out for me is actually the color combination. You have these flashes on there in combination with the dark blue and the very light lightning blue. That makes it actually quite nice, and I have to say the Red Bull logo also fits nicely on there. I also have a weird liking for this Union Berlin third jersey. I do not like yellow and white in a combination. However, here for some reason it works, and add the red accents and of course the Berlin sponsor, which they are unfortunately not wearing in the league, makes this for a really interesting shirt. This is one that I'm thinking, wow, this actually makes sort of sense, and I absolutely love it. It also fits very well with the crest, where you have just a tad of red. The main things are all in red and the rest is in yellow and white. Quite nice. I also think that the number 26, the Stuttgart third jersey, does something interesting. There's again the map of the area around the stadium on the bottom below with a little bit of color in there, and full color Stuttgart crest. Always rides high with me. However, Augsburg does the map a little bit better. This is just a plain jersey, but if you look closer, there's a full city map incorporated into the design, which makes for something that you can look at when you're watching this jersey up close. Even other than that, I really like, it's all green and then you have the club's colors on the trims. Very nicely done. Maybe full colored crest could have added a little bit more. And number 24, the Hoffenheim home jersey. I think if they would go with the pinstripes all the way or leave out the pinstripes, you have an absolute winner here. This way I'm a little bit split, what do you really want to have? But this is a really nice looking blue jersey. Not much to complain. Similarly, for the Gladbach third jersey, this uses a similar color as we had with this special jersey for Dortmund, but here it works because it's just black and then it adds the accent, which makes it a little bit more interesting. Not so sold on the sponsor, but everything else here, really nice. It's black, has some white accents on the cuffs, and that makes it a good jersey. I also have to say that the Freiburg third jersey, it's nothing special, but being so black, with the Freiburg logo just makes sense. And then you have some elements of the crest also printed in on the bottom. It sits relatively high, but I think this is a jersey that I really enjoy. As I do the Bochum away jersey. Yeah, Bochum play in blue usually at home, so a light blue away jersey may not make much sense, but the home jersey is so dark blue that actually it provides the contrast that is needed. Yes, maybe white would be better if you flip the white with the light blue, but it's actually quite a nice jersey. It gives me quite a retro feel with this slightly slanted shadow striping. At number 20, the Frankfurt away jersey. Yeah, Frankfurt kind of nice jersey. Yes, like Freiburg, this is just a template jersey and I don't like the shards up top, but black trimmed in red and then the Frankfurt crest in the red and white configuration makes this one a really nice jersey. We're at number 7, so we're getting now really into the good stuff. And we have the Dortmund third jersey in white. I have not seen it in play, but I have to say, collar really nice, sleeve cuffs really nice, otherwise it's all white. Actually makes kind of sense. At number 18 we have the Bochum home jersey. I really like that one over. I mean, dark blue with white trim, you cannot go wrong. I find the front of the collar a little bit odd, but other than that, nothing special. It has an interesting pattern in there, but it's not really a bad jersey. Same thing goes for the Stuttgart away jersey. It inverts a classic Stuttgart look, so with a red jersey with a white chest band that really nicely houses the sponsor, full color crest. Maybe the chevrons are a tad too much, but also don't really distract me all that much. I also think that the Hoffenheim away jersey, nothing really bad there. I mean, it's classic, it's clean, but the sponsor is not offensive. It fits nicely with the crest. And look at the sleeve cuffs. I do like that one. Maybe you could have inverted the colors, but it's rather clean, simple. Same thing can be said for the Christmas jersey of Leipzig. This is a velour jersey. I mean, not for the players, but when you bought it in the fans, so it was a velour jersey. That's maybe a tad too tacky, but you know, you never can go wrong with a dark red and a little bit of gold on there. So I think for Christmas, I let this pass. Actually do like it overall. Gives me quite the cozy feels. The Mainz third jersey, again sleeve cuffs, similar as the away jersey. We also had similar stuff on the home jersey in white and gold, usually a color combination that I don't really like all that much. However, Mainz has the nickname the Golden City, so the gold does make sense and makes it better looking than if this was white and red. We're at the 8 stars, now we're getting really into the good stuff, and I really like this Union Berlin away jersey. The blackish grayish with the interesting pattern and then the red pinstriping. That's a really nice looking shirt, I gotta say. Add to it the Berlin sponsor. I know they're not wearing this in the league, but there's something there that is really to like here. It's a great looking shirt. Same thing goes at number 12 for the anniversary jersey of Hoffenheim. It's a 125-year anniversary jersey. The one thing I have to say is, do we really need to celebrate the 125th birthday of a team that up until recently didn't amount for much and is only there because of a very wealthy owner? That's why I maybe also took it down a little bit. But you know, I think as a jersey this looks nice. Maybe the color is a little weird, but it's a good one. For some reason, and I've asked myself a whole lot, this Gladbach home jersey sticks out. This is a classic Gladbach look from the 70s. However, it has some interesting patterning in there, and especially when the logo's up there, it really works. The sponsor is not great and that it cuts the pattern, that is not great. But overall, this is a jersey, when I see it in play, I always love, and for that reason it sits at number 11. In at number 10, the best Mainz jersey is the Mainz anniversary jersey, and I have to say this looks really nice. There's one thing that really bothers me. It's this huge sponsor that completely destroys the off-white look, because it's a nice off-white jersey with a sash, with the 2 wheels from the Mainz city coat of arms, and then you put the sponsor on there to completely destroy the look, because other than that, a beautiful, brilliant jersey. In at number 9, we have actually 2 jerseys, but you know, it's just different designs. We have the Bremen home jersey here in the Christmas version, where you see the Werder logo is a Christmas tree, but let's go to the regular version. It is simple, it has this striping pattern, then it has this checkerboard pattern up top, which may look weird at first. However, look at the flag of Bremen, of the city of Bremen, and that's where the pattern comes from. This is in red and white there, so they put it now here in the 2 tones of green, and I absolutely love that one. I also think that the overall pattern that's on there doesn't bother me at all. It actually adds interest, and that it's framed with the green sleeves. Really nice looking shirt. A classic shirt is also the Stuttgart home jersey. I mean, it's everything that I could ask from a Stuttgart jersey. Maybe a nicer color, although they kind of try to hint at a floppy color. It is not, it's just a red line around it. But this is what a Stuttgart jersey should be. You have a red chestband on a white jersey, you have the club's logo in full color, and yeah, maybe floppy color trimmed in red. Couldn't complain anymore. Surprisingly, but I really do like this jersey. It's a special jersey for St. Pauli. Yes, brown is not my favorite color, but if you go all unicolor and the only color is there to say no place for racism, I think you have a winner there. This is very much message focus. It's on brand with the team, and the jersey actually looks quite nice. And I was surprised that I'm giving a completely monochromatic jersey, except for the sponsor, such a high rating, but there it sits at number 7. At number 6, the jersey that I'm wearing. I think this is the best home jersey in the Bundesliga. And yes, we can discuss whether these pinstripes should go all the way through, but they don't, for the simple reason that we don't want to interfere with the sponsor and the club crest. That's maybe the only thing that's a little bit of a downside for this one. However, the patterning in there, going back to the Renaissance, especially to the Fugger family, it's a very nice connection to the town. Augsburg used to be one of the richest towns in all of Europe, especially in the Renaissance time. I even think that the sponsor fits nicely in there, although below the WWK the stripe is orange. If that was red, I think it would be even better, but it's a really, really nice jersey. We're going to the nice stars. Now we are really hitting the high parts, and we're not done with St. Pauli. At number 5, the St. Pauli third jersey. Very much on brand. St. Pauli is all about inclusivity, very left-leaning, so having a rainbow jersey makes sense. But the way they do it, I really love. It's a black jersey, but we have the rainbow crest, we have the rainbow side panels. However, the purple also then extends to the sleeve cuffs and also around the neck. Really nice. And then look at the pattern on the side. This is the same as in the crest the church is made of, and I love that one. This is very well crafted, gets a message across, fits with the club, but also looks very, very appealing. In at number 4, Bayern not only have awful jerseys, they have also a beautiful third jersey, which was used as a home jersey in the Champions League as well. Look at the old-style Bayern crest. That's the one from the 70s, where the lozenge pattern is not slanted yet, which is unlike the flag of Bavaria. We have a really lovely color, and then this cream color. Really, really nice. I wish they also had produced a red version of this one that can be worn in the Champions League as a dedicated Champions League jersey. But whenever they play in the Champions League with that one, I do like it. I just wish it wasn't their regular home jersey in the Champions League. But it's a really, really, really nice shirt. Well done, Adidas. This was part of this absolute wonderful Adidas range. Bringing back the trefoil logo, which also makes this one stand out. We are entering the top 3, and at number 3, another anniversary jersey. We have the Bayer Leverkusen anniversary jersey. It was worn last year. It was the 120th anniversary, and it doesn't look like a Bayer Leverkusen jersey. It's just black with the red collar, very old school. Then also the old school Barmania logo, but look at the Bayer Leverkusen logo. This is really old school as much as it can get. Really well done. Simple, old looking, absolutely love it. In at number 2, another anniversary jersey. It was definitely the year of the anniversary jerseys, and it's the first 10-star. It's the Bayern Munich anniversary jersey. What an awesome shirt, I gotta say. It was even more awesome when it was worn with white pants on the bottom as well. What I love in that one is not only the anniversary crest, which is very Bavarian-like, but also the subtle details woven inside the fabric that also pay homage to the 3 home grounds that Bayern ever had. It's the stadium at the Grünwalder Straße, the Olympiastadion, and of course the Allianz Arena, currently added to it with gold. It's a gorgeous, beautiful jersey. But there's one that is even better, and it's the best Roma jersey that has been released this year. It's the Augsburg third jersey. There was a funny battle between Bayern and Augsburg when Bayern released the anniversary jersey, where Augsburg, who is not far away from Bayern, said, you know, where did you copy that from? Because it is very similar. However, I like this one better for the simple reason that it pays homage to the Roman past of the city of Augsburg. It is absolutely gorgeously made in this reddish tone, then adding some gold to it, and then so many little details, Roman mosaics laid onto it. This is a feast for the eye when you just watch it a little bit up close. Absolutely gorgeous jersey. Has been, I think, also in my top 10 for jerseys released in 2024, and is to me the best Bundesliga jersey, and one that I've very much my eyes set on. So that concludes the Bundesliga jersey review for the 24-25 season. Quite interesting, I have to say. There are quite a few cool shirts in there and quite some really bad ones. I don't think I've ever dished out that many 4 stars, but I absolutely love this trend of anniversary jerseys, although it can go a little bit wild, but it usually produces really nice shirts. Now it is your time to let me know which jersey in here do you like, especially which ones do you dislike. Where do you agree, where do you disagree with me? I mean, that's all my ranking. Yours might look completely differently. I also give you here the summarized grades of what I have dished out. We kind of see that Augsburg probably have the best overall set. But, for instance, Bayern is very much hit and miss with some really nice specialty jerseys, but a horrible home jersey especially, and Dortmund also didn't fare all that well. In any case, drop a line below, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. I'll talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye! Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!